congratulations, of course, on the victory. You said before the fight you love being the underdog, you relish that role, but obviously you made a pretty big statement tonight. I mean, could you envision the fight going any better than it did?
No. Mark Henry's the brains behind our whole operation. I owe everything to Mark Henry. He's gotten me. He improved so much since I've been with back home in Philadelphia. They got my body working in ways, my defense cleaner, and just doing things differently. And I can't take much credit other than just trying to get prepared for the fight. And I owe everything to my coaches and my teammates. So.
Leading into the fight, everyone was talking about you've been a champion in every organization but the UFC. And you weren't talking a ton about the title, but now that you have it sitting in front of you, what does it mean to you to add that to your resume, to add that to your legacy?
This has always been like a marathon for me, not a sprint. Everybody's always asked me, when are you going to go to the UFC? When are you going to challenge? Telling me what I should do and when I should do it. I just think if you work hard enough and you love something, these belts and things like this are just byproducts of it. This will not be here forever. But I just think just working hard and doing something you're passionate about is important. And right now we have the belt and I'm the champion. I told a lot of people I would be, so happy.
You've obviously throughout your career, you're kind of known, for being involved in some crazy brawls. You've had some epic fights, back and forth fights throughout your career. Do you feel like this is more of the norm now, that you go out and dominate? I mean, obviously Rafael's a phenomenal fighter. You went out there and dominated. Do you feel like that is the new Eddie, working with Mark Henry and the coaches, that, maybe those close fights or those battles, or do you feel like you can really go out and dominate these lightweights?
I can. I just need to build confidence in my ability to communicate with Mark Henry and the rest of the team. I've only been with these guys for like 6 months, and he has a playbook that's longer than half the textbooks you guys got. So I've just been building with him, building with Anderson Franca and Ricardo Almeida, just learning to communicate with each other, and it's been helping big time. I've made so many big improvements. So I'm excited at where I'm at in my career and the improvements that I'm making, so happy.
And last question, I know you're a big team guy. I mean, obviously you're there for your teammates. Seeing your performance tonight, what's your prediction for your teammate Frankie Edgar on Saturday night?
Frankie will win the title. I know Frankie Edgar. I know what he's capable of, and I know what kind of man he is. He's gonna win that title. I can pinch myself because Frankie walked in the Fight Factory, a small gym I was training in 9 years ago with Mark Henry to do some sparring. And we started working together, and I said, every time you come to Philadelphia, I'll come to New Jersey. And then that was that. Me and Frankie worked together for the past 9 years off and on, and now we're about to win dual championship titles on the same exact weekend. It's crazy. I can't even think about it.
Eddie, congratulations on your win. A couple of interesting future matchups possible for you. Obviously, Khabib's up there. Also, Tony Ferguson, if he wins his next fight. And Twitter's being blown up. A lot of people want to see a Conor McGregor-Eddie Alvarez fight happen as well. I mean, it's very, very soon. I know you're just sort of relishing the title, but if you have to choose what's next for Eddie Alvarez, what would you go with?
For me, I think by far the best lightweight in this division is Rafael dos Anjos. I had the better night tonight, for sure, but this can go either way. There's great competitors, and there's a real small margin for error. And if you mess up once, it could have been me on the other end of that punch. So this guy to the right of me is the best in the division. So to be able to come out with a win over him, and before him was Pettis, and before him was Gilbert. These are the best guys in the division. I'm not taking on top 15 top. So I would ask Dana White, please, to give me an easier fight like Conor McGregor. I deserve that. I've been fighting the best guys, so I would like a gimme fight. So Conor, I'm more than welcome that.
Well, speaking of the Conor McGregor matchup, obviously you have a very, very exciting style. How would you see a fight between you two playing out, considering his skill set as well?
I just look. There's a lot of guys in in the UFC who are good at one thing, and they get matched up stylistically well, and they make their way to the top without ever going against the best guys, the true best guys like Rafael dos Anjos and the best guys in the division. They sneak their way around them, and they live off perception, not what really is. He's one of them. So I think he can get found out if he was ever to fight Rafael dos Anjos or fight myself. He'll get found out very quickly.
Before you got to the UFC, you were dealing with a lot of contract issues, just a long line of stuff. Was there any doubt at that point, at any point there, that you wouldn't reach this moment, you wouldn't get this opportunity to realize this dream of being a UFC champion? And how hard was that process for you before finally getting over here?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I was put through the ringer. I sold we don't make a ton of money fighting, especially if you're not fighting in the UFC. So I made some investments, and I had to sell them just so I can stay afloat when I was going through that court case and stuff. So I was really dwindling down to nothing, and my mind was getting really bitter toward MMA because MMA is it asks everything of you, like every inch of your soul. It wants everything, but sometimes it gives back nothing. It tells you when it wants to give back, and that you should just every day put your heart and soul into it. So I call it the B word sometimes, and it's really tough. So yeah, I dealt with that, but I'm a pretty positive guy, and I kept my eye on the little light at the end of the tunnel, and we got through it. We persevered and we overcame.
Was there a specific moment you can remember those, the lowest point, and then when you got past that, and was it when the court case ended, or what was that moment?
I think it was when we sat down. We had to settle with Bellator. I think we had to settle. We had a settlement agreement, and I thought I was going to get out of it, or I thought maybe I didn't know what, but we had to end up settling, and the settlement agreement was insane. I shook my head, and I was just like, I'm not ever going to get out of this alive, or it was just a terrible settlement agreement, and I was really disappointed at that time in life. So.